This week on The Insiders, more thoughts and prayers. And then what? A few days before summer break started, these elementary school students and teachers went to school in Uvalde, Texas. Then an 18-year-old with his newly purchased AR-15 murdered them. We will discuss, again, what, if anything, communities and their elected leaders will do. Iowa lawmakers finished their work for the year, barring a special session later. House Republicans refused to pass one of the governor's biggest priorities. One lawmaker will join us with an idea why. And then the primary watch. We'll hear from one of the Republican legislators that the Republican governor is now trying to defeat after he would not support her plan.
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
Iowa legislators showed up January 10th for the new year. They adjourned early in the morning on May the 25th. Now, in between, they stayed away for about a month or so as the governor tried to convince enough Republicans to pass her school scholarship plan. Well, the Republican-led legislature did end up passing another tax cut, reduced the number of weeks Iowans can receive unemployment, revamped the bottle bill, mandated most gas stations offer E15, and required transgendered athletes to compete as the gender assigned to them at birth. Republicans chose not to stop companies from using eminent domain to build a carbon pipeline through somebody's property, or put cameras in classrooms, or jail teachers because of books. But this year, it marked the second straight one that Governor Reynolds prioritized a version of her school scholarship plan. She wanted up to 10,000 students to be able to switch to private school, and she'd send tens of millions of tax dollars that used to go to public schools to instead help pay for this education in private schools. The Senate Republicans passed it, but numerous Republican House members told me that her idea fell well short of the support needed in that chamber. So the governor's now working to get rid of some of those who refused to back her. First up was John Thorup. He's the Knoxville Republican seeking a third term in the House. The governor publicly endorsed Pella Construction Company owner Barb Niff McCullough instead. I have not been able to find any longtime State House member or observer who can remember a governor from either party at any point taking this kind of public move to defeat an incumbent from her own party. Now, Thorup said the governor never talked to him about this decision before she announced her choice for his opponent.
I try not to take these things personally. They're a matter of government, matter of policy, and of course politics can be that way. I don't know if it's maybe because I've been a trooper for almost 25 years. I would say that gives you a pretty thick skin sometimes. I don't know. Like I said, I just for whatever reason, I take it seriously, just not personally.
He estimated that he has agreed with about 9 out of every 10 ideas the governor has had. Now, Senate Democrat Claire Celsi said that she believes the governor has wanted to push for more public money for private schools ever since 2019. That's when the governor met privately with Donald Trump's Secretary of Education, Betsy DeVos, over at the Iowa State House. Celsi said that House Republicans again refused to pass the plan, though, because of strong opposition from the public.
I saw that there was just a lot of opposition to this in the House. Used to be even more opposition, and I think they lost a few because of Governor Reynolds' lobbying. Doesn't surprise me because it was a really bad idea. I think it was the people of Iowa that really contacted their legislators and spoke out against this bill. The concept of public money for public schools is pretty well embedded in everyone's head at this point after years and years of these voucher schemes coming up. So I think the public really just reacted to that and said, you know what, we're going to draw the line. We already give private schools $105 million a year between state and federal money. That's enough. Where do we draw the line? I think they draw the line at vouchers.
Now, this past week, the governor named a second Republican House member she's trying to defeat on primary election day, June 7th. Republican Dennis Bush of Cherokee is looking for a second term. He's running in the new House District 5, but like Thorup, he opposed the governor's private school plan. So she is endorsing one of his Republican challengers, Zach Deichen from Granville. Coming up next, two insiders on whether this time there will be changes after children and teachers got killed inside that Texas classroom.